At the end of the day, you know that you can rely on them, and that they'll love you even through thick and thin. But what about those of us who come from dysfunctional families? And are the signs always clear and obvious, or can they be subtle and deceiving? Here are 8 common characteristics of a dysfunctional family. 1. Addiction. Roughly 45% of the US population has been exposed to some form of alcoholism or alcoholic behavior in their family. That's as many as 76 million people, and approximately 26 million of those individuals are children. The addiction can be drugs, alcohol, or a combination of both. Addicted parents can have negative financial, communicative, or connective impacts on the family, affecting every family member's ability to form close, healthy relationships with others. 2. Perfectionism. This one can be difficult to spot, especially as picture perfect on the outside. When perfectionism is highly regarded and children have to bear their parents' unrealistic expectations, they may grow up with self-image and self-esteem issues, believing they'll never be good enough. They also have a hard time going to their parents when they need emotional support, so they may learn to close themselves up and have trouble trusting people. When parents prioritize performance and results, their children never learn to accept and improve upon their mistakes. 3. Abuse. Abuse is another common characteristic of a dysfunctional family. It can be physical, emotional, and/or sexual. Abuse can occur between parents, parent and child, or siblings. People use abuse to punish their families for unwanted behavior and stay in control when they believe they've been betrayed. If you think you're being abused, we encourage you to call your emergency hotline number. 4. Unpredictability and fear. Unpredictability and fear go hand in hand. It's a pattern often produced from abuse, but can also stem from a family member's financial or emotional instability. Children who come from an unpredictable household suffer from low self-esteem issues and either grow up to be extremely responsible crowd pleasers or end up mirroring their parents' toxic behaviors. Unpredictability and fear are results of overly rigid or religious upbringings, when a family doesn't allow family members to form their own beliefs, aspirations, and interests. 5. Conditional love. In dysfunctional families, conditional love is exercised by manipulative people. When a parent or spouse only gives others love when they want something, they're either insecure or selfish. For instance, a selfish mother might show love and support to their child just so that when the child reaches adulthood, they will take care of her. When love is conditional, it can make family members feel used or cheated. 6. Lack of boundaries. When a family doesn't establish healthy boundaries, members will often feel like they have no privacy or aren't being respected. Parents who see their children as trophies or extensions of themselves are narcissistic, causing children to feel confused about their own identities when they aren't properly nurtured or encouraged. Boundaries are blurred when a parent tries to be controlling and dominant through anger, and children feel like they have no choice but to act or behave in certain ways to please their parent. As a result, they grow up feeling alienated or lost and become overly self-critical. 7. Lack of intimacy. Dysfunctional families often mistake codependency as intimacy. In healthy families, parents teach their children how to be self-efficient. But if a parent is scared of letting go, they'll make claims about being able to live without their kids if they grow up and leave. Likewise, a spouse who may show excessive clinginess to their partner. It's important for family members to be with each other because they want to, not because they have to. Ultimately, love is a selfless act and should never be pressured nor forced. 8. Poor communication. Family conflicts typically stem from poor communication. When people can't express themselves due to strained or non-existent communication, they feel unheard, invisible, or misunderstood. Overall, dysfunctional families don't practice healthy communication skills, so members can be quick to react rather than waiting to listen and understand. The resulting arguments cause daily stress and challenges that tear the family apart. Does your family identify with any of these characteristics? What methods have you tried to bring the family back together? Feel free to share your stories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out our other social media.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, media team, for that. I hope you've been able to follow and probably see one or two things that you can identify with. Dysfunctional families have to do with something called you not being yourself in that family because of the things that are happening there. So either you are shut down, either you are pinned down, you are told how to behave, or you are made to behave in a certain way that is not you. A dysfunctional home is where people are not themselves. A parent who is dysfunctional is one who enables a child to grow up with lack of love, not feeling loved, acknowledged, or even respected. It also comes when a child is ashamed of their parent. Even in situations of poverty, where poverty is too much, and children probably come to the university, and they don't want to be associated, even if you hear your father is at the gate, calling, looking for you, you go missing in action. You don't want to be seen with them. All those things are dysfunctional. And therefore, it is important for us, as we are seated here and thinking about our families, first of all, to come to terms with the fact that there is no family that is not dysfunctional. We have issues. If you investigate your family well, you will find that there is something. Probably you have just stepped on it, you are not talking about it. Or you have ignored it. Or you have blacked, you're not thinking about it. You have blacked it out. I'm not telling you to go digging, but the truth is, these things have a way of just coming up. And I think it is important for us, when you look at your parents, don't be too quick to judge. Don't be too quick to get angry. Don't be too quick to cut them off. The issue is to understand at times why they are doing the things they do. Some of us grew up with strict parents. I come from a family. My parents, I can't say they're overly strict, but there's some strictness at certain levels and certain ages. And what that did for some of us is that we shut down. When you wanted to say something, what you needed to say was not as important. It is what they were saying. And sometimes you are expressing yourself. You just don't like this, but they're telling you, don't talk to me that way, you don't tell me that way, I don't want to hear. So you learn to hide things in your heart. And with that then, as you grow older, the lesser and less you are going to be open to those people. So a parent, if you have a parent or somebody who has raised you up, and they have had a drug and substance abuse issue, probably it's a brother you have grown up with, and they are a drug addict. It is known, whether secretly or not, that is able to cause a family to go into dysfunction, because people have to adjust to live with him, whether it's your father or mother or that sibling. Homes where parents are not home on a regular, continuous basis. And as I said in the morning, the CBC, the reason why it is being resisted, it has issues, I know. I'm also a parent, so I know. But all of a sudden, people have been thrown into this thing of being at home and knowing what your kids do. Many parents don't like being at home, live alone with each other. So if I can avoid mama boy, I will avoid her. Come when the children are asleep, eat my supper, the plate is on the table, and go to sleep. So the kids grow up not knowing. So it is not just CBC, political CBC, but there is something that they are targeting. They are targeting the dysfunctionalities that are there in our homes. So pray for it. I'm not a proponent of it or somebody, but I can see the spirit behind it. It's a good one. Because parents have been not present at home, yet they are the primary caregivers. When a child calls auntie, mom, in a supermarket, mom, or in school, mom, the house help, there is a problem. Dysfunction also comes because parents, sometimes because of anger and bad words, and we have seen that, anger, talking down, bad vibes, they hurt the children. And you're here, and you have seen you've been hurt, or your sibling has been hurt, she has been gossiped, or he has been gossiped, the father in the home has been gossiped, or the mother has been hurt, domestically in terms of violence, or emotionally violent, or whatever violence that is happening. The other thing is highly conditional. The parents of you are only loved if, and that came out very well there, where image of the family is everything. As a child, and you are a child, you always want to be wanted, to be seen, to be noticed, and to be acknowledged. A child of any age. The bad news, as I said, is that all families are dysfunctional, and yours is one of them. The good news is that there is hope in Jesus Christ for every dysfunctional family. My family doesn't have horrid tales. No. No physical abuse. I don't remember my father beating my mother, and they've been together for over 40 years. 43, 44, I think there. I've never seen. But there are other forms of abuse. Somebody can beat you in many ways. If you are married, you will understand the mystery. Some can beat you words. Others, it is actions. And you know, when you're a child, you are growing and seeing all that. You are also being taught how to raise your own family. Unfortunately, we don't learn from much of what people tell us, but we learn more by what we see. These eyes, whether you are a blind person, whether you are deaf, what you see and what you hear are very, very strong mentors. They are great teachers. And therefore, what I'm trying to say here is that we need to remember that our parents, they have parented us. They could be right or wrong, but there are some things, because they are not perfect, they have not done well. Some of us, our parents are not together, as I said. Some of us, they are together, but not together. Live in separate rooms, and also you have learned that is how life is. When you will get married and you have a major disagreement, you will move from the bedroom and move to the children's bedroom and live there for years without even people knowing until. So the Bible is our hope. The Bible does not hide embarrassing details of heroes and heroines, those we love or those we hate. Jesus came from such a family tree. God, as holy as He is, sent His Holy Son through a family line in Matthew chapter 1, verse 1 to 17, that has people like Abraham, who is a liar, Isaac, a liar like the father, Jacob, triple liar, father, grandfather, seed is in him, Judah, adulterer, he went to sleep with his daughter-in-law, Tamar. Rahab, a prostitute. David, you know the story, with Uriah's wife. Solomon, 700 and 300, and many other people. All those people are in Jesus' family line, yet he is born in that line, meaning that God has a wonderful purpose for every family line that is there. It does not matter. Divorced, serial divorcers are there, serial adulterers, serial drunkards, serial never having money, spending money on slave queens. It is there. Them being brought to your home, you being beaten and sleeping outside, you being chased to the street. Some of us have come from street families. They are here. Dysfunction. Remember that things were not so in the beginning. In Genesis chapter 1 and 2, let me encourage you, whenever life gets bad, because I can't deal with all our dysfunctions, there are many, I can't. But one thing that has always encouraged me is that when you go back in the beginning, it was not so. Even Jesus told these people who are asking about divorce, oh, a certificate of divorce. He told, give a certificate of divorce and the man can divorce the wife at will. But Jesus says, yes, because of the hardness of your hearts. But in the beginning, that is not how God planned this thing to be. So your family in the beginning, that is not how God planned it to be. I am sorry that things went south. Things are bad. I am sorry you hate it. I'm sorry you don't talk to your father. I'm sorry you have problems with your brother or a sister. I am so grieved that your father even died without you reconciling. But it was not so in the beginning. When things get bad, please go back to Genesis 1 and 2 and remind yourself that God made things perfect. And there's this song we used to sing in college that, I know that you had me on your mind. It's talking about Jesus being Redeemer, Savior, friend. In the beginning, you are on God's mind. Each one of you. Whether you have dreads, whether you're black, whether you are wearing red, whatever. Whether you had breakfast, whether you're not going to eat. Whether you have money in the bank or you don't. God.
Through a family line. In Matthew chapter 1, verse 1 to 17, that has people like Abraham,
whether you came by
who is a liar.
I am sorry. Whether you came by incest, you are here. Whether you came by
Do not hide things in your heart.
Whether it is a polygamous home, you are here. Not because
and with that, then, as you grow older, the less
God is the great contraceptive. He can stop any sperm and egg meeting. He can. He can. If it was about dysfunction, he can stop. But believe me, in that dysfunction, right now you're crying because you're seeing that mama who has been a friend to your mama is stealing your father. That's dysfunction. But God did not create that. That is choice. He doesn't infringe on our choices, a good father. But he is there with you. You may not like your family. You may be as poor as church mice. You came to campus with no shoe. Probably with a shoe that is, you have really saved everything you have to even buy that Nike or that Mutumba Nike. God knows it. So don't feel that you are alone. Jesus, God's own son, feels you. Did you ever imagine how hard it was for Mary